What is going on, guys? My name is Tim Ruswick, and today we're talking about some more self-improvement stuff. Specifically, like refusing to be a victim. Now, I always wonder about posting self-improvement stuff because this is a game development channel, and I want to cover as much game development as I can. But I feel like so much of this internal mental stuff is really important to learn to like actually get past the barriers that you need to get past in order to like be successful in anything, not just game development. So that's why I cover this stuff. And one of those specific barriers for me that's been a huge barrier in my life is being a victim. Now, I'll tell you a quick story and I'll kind of explain my point after that. So in middle school and high school, I didn't have the best posture and I didn't get a lot of exercise. And because of that, when I would walk around, my back would hurt, right? Because I wasn't used to having a bunch of exercise. And so I went to the doctor, and he wrote me a note to get out of PE because I had a back issue. And that to me was proof that I had a problem, that I was a victim. And I used that for years. Every time someone would be like, "Hey Tim, can you lift this for me? Can you help me do this? Whatever." I'd be like, "I got a bad back. I got a bad back. I have a back problem. I have a back problem." That became my thing. That would be what I would say. I had a back problem. I had a back problem. And I would use that over and over and over again. I had like latched onto it, and it became like this thing that was true about myself that I couldn't change. And it wasn't until like later on in life when I kind of realized that no, I didn't really have a back issue. I was lazy as fuck, and I didn't get a lot of exercise, and so my back wasn't very strong, and so of course it would hurt. And plus, sitting on the computer all day, hunched over, like I still don't have the best posture, right? So that puts all kinds of strains on my muscles. And my brother is a human movement specialist. He's a personal trainer. He's helped me figure all this stuff out. Because he does this for a living, and he's been extremely helpful with that. But what I realized was that like me thinking I was the victim there, me thinking I had a problem, was the problem. It wasn't the actual problem. It was me thinking that I had a problem. And this came back in my life in a lot of different ways, but I've talked a little bit about, dealing with negative people. And I lived with someone that was really emotionally abusive for a long time. And when I first got out of that, I was like, I was angry. Like, how could this person do this to me? How could this person be this way to me? So emotionally abusive and like just destructive in my life. And for a long time, I looked at myself as like a victim of emotional abuse. This happened to me, and I held on to that. Like, you don't, like, when I would talk to, like, let's say dating, for example, I would talk to people, they would ask me about my childhood or about what my life was like, and I'd be like, no, I had a really shitty childhood, or, blah, blah, and I would go on and on about how I was a victim. And dude, not only is that completely unattractive, right? Like 100% unattractive, but in addition to that, it's like, that was holding me back. It wasn't the actual thing that happened that was holding me back. It was my belief that the thing meant something about me that was holding me back. And for those of you guys that feel like you have something that holds you back, whether, it's something that happened to you in childhood, whether it's like a disorder that you have, whether it's anything at all that you think would hold you back, I want to urge you to refuse to become a victim, to refuse to acknowledge that thing, to refuse to let that thing stop you do what you want to do. A lot of us, we like to play the victim. It's comforting to know that we are the way they are because we are the way we are because we have something that makes us this way. It's an excuse to not do anything. It's an excuse to not move forward. And it's a lot easier for us to say, oh, I have a condition, than it is for us to say, I'm lazy and I haven't done that shit yet because I'm lazy, or whatever it is. And just be honest with ourselves and like try and break through that barrier of whatever's holding us back. And identifying the barrier in itself can be a problem, right? Like identifying the places in your life where you actually feel this way can be really important, and it can be really difficult to do. So it's going to take a lot of self-reflection, a lot of like thinking about you and watching how you interact from a third person, like really, interacting with people and like kind of observing yourself as you do it can help you kind of identify these things. But also the things that like hold you back the most, the things that stop you from doing things that you want to do, are usually the things that you need to overcome the most. Like whatever that biggest issue is in your life, where you just feel like, you may even feel like, yeah, Tim, you may be saying this, but my condition is different, or you don't understand because I have this, or I don't have this, or I grew up without this, or I grew up with this, or whatever. And you're sitting there saying, yeah, I see what you're saying, but mine's different. That's the thing you need to get rid of, man. That's the thing you need to work on. That's the thing you need to get past, because that's the thing that you're using to hold yourself back. That's the thing that you're using as an excuse to not move forward. And like, I have plenty of these things, right? I'm still discovering these things about me. Finish Friday is something that I started recently. We just did our second one. I finished 2 games on 2 separate Fridays that have been sitting on my hard drive for 2 years, right? And I used to say all the time, like, oh, the game's just not done. Or I have, I told myself all kinds of stuff, but like, whatever it was stopping me from publishing the games. And I decided that I was just going to move past it no matter what, no matter whether I thought the games were done, no matter what came up in my life. Like, I was just going to move past it. And just like I moved past the victimhood of, the back issue, just like I've moved past the victimhood of emotional abuse, you have to move past anything that holds you back, anything that you view yourself as a victim, any kind of injustice that happened to you. You have to move past it, because if you don't, that thing is going to define your life, and it's going to hold you back for eternity. So I hope you can identify it. I hope you can move past it. This is something that I feel very strongly about. So, if you want to message me on Discord or something like that, I'd be happy to talk to you. I really want to help people move past these kind of issues in their lives, because I've faced a lot of these issues and they held me back for a lot of years. So I'm here for you guys. I want you to be the best person you can be. So leave me a comment if you agree with what I'm saying, or you disagree with what I'm saying, or if there's anything you want to share personally. Feel free to leave it below in the comments. I love talking to you guys as always. Once again, I'm Tim Ruswick, and I will see you tomorrow.